A very good evening and welcome to Hope TV Newswatch, where we bring you news that made headlines today. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language tonight is Boniface Mureithi. Newswatch begins now. The former Prime Minister and ODM party leader Raila Amolo Odinga has died. Raila reportedly collapsed and died on Wednesday morning while receiving treatment in India. He succumbed to a cardiac arrest during a morning walk. President William Ruto, who formally announced Raila's death, says Kenya has lost her foremost statesman and unceasing servant of the people and one of Africa's greatest sons.
Fellow citizens, it is with deep sorrow that I inform the nation of the passing on of the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, our former Prime Minister, Kenya's foremost statesman, and one of Africa's greatest sons. Kenya, Africa and the world mourn the passing on of a giant of democracy, a fearless freedom fighter, and a tireless warrior of good governance. Raila Amolo Odinga's name will forever be etched in the story of our republic, a story of struggle, sacrifice, courage, rule of law, hope, and of our pursuit for excellence. For decades, Raila dedicated his life to the pursuit of justice, equity, and freedom. He endured detention and persecution so that this nation might know and enjoy democracy. He championed reforms that gave birth to the rights and freedoms we hold dear today. His voice spoke for the oppressed. His conviction inspired generations, and his vision shaped the course of our history. Raila Amolo Odinga is truly a once-in-a-generation leader, a man whose ideals transcended politics and whose legacy will shape the destiny of Kenya for generations to come. A giant who towered for decades over our democratic landscape. He was a colossus of Kenya's modern politics, an indomitable warrior in our struggle for freedom and prosperity.
Now, President William Ruto has declared a 7-day national mourning period following the death of former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Addressing the nation to formally announce the demise, President Ruto directed that all national flags will fly at half-mast as a sign of respect and mourning the Kenyan political enigma. A delegation from Kenya led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has left for India to facilitate the repatriation of Raila's body. Raila died this morning after suffering a cardiac arrest.
I extend my deepest condolences to Mama Aida.
As reports of Raila Odinga's death continues to shock many, President William Ruto has led the nation in mourning the ODM leader, well known for his push for democratic transformation. In his address to the nation, Ruto directed that all national flags fly at half-mast for the next 7 days as plans to accord Raila Odinga a state funeral begins.
I have declared a 7-day period of national mourning, during which the national flag shall fly at half-mast across the Republic of Kenya and in all our missions abroad.
Ruto also suspended all his public engagements as a sign of respect to Raila Odinga, who he termed as a distinguished leader.
I have postponed all my public engagements for the coming days, and I ask all other public servants and leaders to do the same so that we can join the nation in this period of mourning and deep reflection.
Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has been tasked with leading a special committee to ensure the former Prime Minister is accorded a befitting send-off.
In consultation with the family, a committee to be co-chaired by the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the Siaya Senator Oduor Odinga has been set up to coordinate the funeral arrangements.
In an effort to facilitate the repatriation of Odinga's body from India to Kenya, the government of India has pledged to ease the burden.
A delegation comprising government officials and family members, led by Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, is leaving immediately for India to facilitate proper organization in the repatriation of the remains of our brother.
As Kenyans continue to come to terms with the death of Raila Odinga, his legacy, especially in the advancement of democracy and civil rights throughout his career, stands out, a void that they say can never be filled. For Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
And Kenyans across different parts of the country took to the streets to publicly mourn the death of ODM leader, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. In loud wailing and waving of tree branches, they wept openly while remembering Raila for his political legacy in the country and lamented over his loss going forward. They thronged Kenya's major towns and Raila's home in Bondo and Karen respectively, where loud mourning could be heard after reports of Raila's death following the cardiac arrest in India, where he was undergoing treatment. A cross-section of residents have paid their tributes to Raila's supporters and the country at large, saying Kenya and the African continent at large has lost a remarkable statesman.
We were detained together by the bad regime. We were at committee where we saw wonderful things. When Raila was at Simulatewa, I passed at Manyani. So we have so many things. I'm requesting the community and Kenyan at large to mourn Raila with peace, particularly our young men.
Imbaji wakati wa Mashujaa Day, national functions tunaimba. Tuko na huzuni sana kama wanakwaya sana. Tunajiuliza tutaimbaje on Monday bila Raila, kwa sababu ametuelekeza, amefanya taifa la Kenya mzima imekuwa na amani. Mimi kama Martha na wenzangu wamesimama nyuma yangu, tunalia, tuna huzuni sana.
Raila ametuacha, niseme tu vizuri, sababu tumekuwa kwa serikali, ametuacha kama tuko serikalini.
Mheshimiwa Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, amkumbuka kama mtu ambaye ni mtu alilete demokrasia hapa Kenya. Ameipigania kwa muda mrefu. Hasa hii uhuru ambayo tuko nayo, hata wale ambao wanaita wa kisasa cha sasa ambao ni Gen Z wanajivunia. Yeye ndiye amepigania sana.
Nimehuzunika sana na kifo cha Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Nilimjua kama kiongozi aliyepigania haki ya wanyonge.
Kama mwana Kenya.
We're taking a look at news just in that the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga will be buried on Sunday at his Opoda home in Bondo, Siaya County. Making the announcement, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, who chaired the inaugural National State Funeral Committee, said this is in line with Raila's wishes to be buried within 72 hours of his death. Kindiki has given an order of the burial program that begins with the arrival of Raila's body tomorrow, followed by a state viewing in Parliament. The body will then be transferred to Kisumu for public viewing ahead of the burial on Sunday. Let's have a listen.
And this state funeral service is expected to be attended by dignitaries and VVIPs from outside Kenya. It is a state event, and it will be conducted in accordance with the protocols of state events to give respect to the stature of our foreign hero. That state funeral service, once concluded, will then lead to the body being moved to the current home of the Honorable Raila Odinga for overnight stay. On Saturday, the body will leave Nairobi for Kisumu early in the morning. And there shall be public viewing of the body of the late Prime Minister at Moi Stadium in Kisumu City between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. in the afternoon, after which the body will travel by road from Kisumu City to Bondo for overnight stay. The burial of the late Prime Minister Raila Odinga will take place on Sunday and will be conducted according to the traditions of the Anglican Church, to which the Honorable Raila Odinga belonged.
We are mourning and also celebrating the life of a great leader. As I had told you before, I informed you that he was well and kicking about, and he will soon be back to the country. That was not a lie, it was the truth. He was very well until last night. I spoke to him. He was vibrant, up and kicking. It is only unfortunate this morning that he suffered shock, which is suspected after the postmortem to be heart attack. But we are not just mourning, we are also celebrating the life of our great leader. I don't have strength to speak much now. What the DP has said is what we have discussed and agreed, and I am only praying that our people at this moment behave in a dignified manner. Let us give my brother the dignified burial and send off that he deserves, and I hope there will be peace during this time and reflection on his life. So I thank everybody.
Now, other world leaders have also sent their messages of condolence on social media, hailing Raila as a statesman and a visionary leader, not only for Kenya, but in the African continent at large. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta, who visited Raila's current home this evening in the company of his wife, Mama Margaret Kenyatta, have condoled Raila's spouse, Mama Ida, saying Raila's life and legacy tower across Africa and Kenya, adding that Kenya owes Odinga and his family an immeasurable debt of gratitude. Uhuru reflected on their complex political journey from fierce rivals to partners in the historic 2018 handshake that ushered in a new era of national unity. He praised Odinga's unwavering belief in justice and his ability to rise above personal ambition for the sake of peace. Fondly referring to him as Baba, Uhuru described Raila as a man who sharpened ideas and challenged convictions, ultimately becoming an invaluable ally in the pursuit of reconciliation. Indeed, Kenya and the African continent has been dealt a blow following the passing on of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. We now take a look at his life and times and some of those memorable moments that will live on in our minds.
Prophetess Sonia, Prophetess Safaflu, Bishop David Ambaki, Bishop Nora, Naba Wakuche, wasimame tu hapa. We want to do some declarations.
Guzeni mchanga, iguzeni mchanga. Katika jina la Yesu,
uje uongee na Wakenya wako. Asante. Siwezi karanga, shagala bagala.
sitasimama wala sitasimama kuzuia kitawala.
Sisi tunataka amani. Maandamano ya amani. Maandamano ya amani. Maandamano ya amani. Na itaendelea.
Asanteni sana. Siku ya leo ni siku ya maombi. Tuliamua kama wanaazimio ya kwamba siku moja katika harakati hii tuteue ili tuweze kukutana na Wakenya na kuomba Mwenyezi Mungu.
إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Others were just trauma and
of flowers, and we will be led in this session by our leader, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. He will be the first one on behalf of Azimio and all Kenyans to lay a flower in memory of our dear departed, and he will also lead the nation in lighting the candle. And we want to ask all Kenyans across our country to light up a candle today and to say a prayer for the dear departed. As our leader is doing this, we are happy that across the country I've seen in Kisii already people have started lighting candles. Please, in your own special way, as the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is doing, do so in memory of our dear departed. And after our leader, we'll ask the Honorable Dr. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka to come and also
Hi, my name is Sharon Aitore Wangenya. Thank you so much for being one of our viewers. We truly honor you and appreciate you. We'd love to know how you're receiving us, how your reception is in terms of the quality of the video and the audio as well. So please scan this QR code and give us your feedback. Thank you and God bless you.
There's a world out there searching for hope, and you can help bring it home. By becoming a friend of Hope, you're helping us share the love of Jesus through Hope FM and Hope TV. With a donation of any amount, join hands with us to bring hope and point souls to the transforming power of Jesus Christ. Become a friend of Hope today by making your donation through the M-Pesa paybill number 933933, account FOH. For more information on how to become a friend of Hope, call 0116-212-723 or email customerexperience@hopefm.org. or visit www.hopemediakenya.org. Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
What if your pain had a purpose? What if your past was just a beginning of a greater story?
Gotten to another level because now I could not do anything without it, and now it became like a poison. I take it today, it grounds me for 3 more days.
If I had not read the Bible, when I read the Bible, it just confirmed all the more that I had an encounter with the Lord, because I told him, Lord, why have you come to me?
From the streets to the sanctuary, from the prison yard to the pulpit, real people are sharing the power of God's transforming love. No matter where you've been, God can rewrite your story.
So I got him, I just called, and by luck, he picked up the phone. I explained everything and what I was feeling.
Wow.
He started praying in tongues immediately over the phone, and that thing, whatever it was, it stopped.
Join me, Sharon Aitore Wangenye, for Testify every Thursday at 8 p.m. as we listen through the journey of hope, healing, and redemption through the voices of people just like you.
And when you're running away from God, there's only the fire you can run.
Yeah.
I stand here as a witness that God catches up.
These aren't just stories, they are testimonies. Don't just watch, testify.
Welcome back. Now, Kenya is mourning the death of Raila Odinga, also known as the enigma of Kenyan politics. Raila Odinga's political journey was marked with relentless pursuit of democracy since early 1990s, right after his release from detention during former President Daniel Moi's tenure. And with 5 bids and no win for the presidential post, Raila still moved to become a towering figure, acquiring the name Baba, which was coined from those he loved and nurtured politically, and his calls for a better Kenya. Samia Dika tells us more of his early days as a multi-party advocate under the one-party regime to his towering role as a statesman.
Asanteni sana. Siku ya leo ni siku ya maombi.
Kenya's political history will never be told without a mention of Raila Amolo Odinga as one of its most influential political figures whose decisions shifted the country's political trajectory for over 4 decades. Raila Odinga signed into the political sphere in the 1970s, influenced by his father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga and the first Vice President of the Republic of Kenya. After the 1982 coup to overthrow Moi's government led by the Kenya Air Force in August, Odinga was detained up until February 1988 before being rearrested in June 1988 and served a 1-year term jail until 1989. In July 1990, he was detained together with Kenneth Matiba and Charles Rubai until June 1991, after which he fled to Norway, running away from President Daniel Moi's regime. In 1992, Raila came back from Norway and joined the Ford Kenya party that was under his father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga as the vice chairman of the General Purposes Committee of the party. Months towards the 1992 elections, Odinga became Ford Kenya's Deputy Director of Elections and won the Lang'ata constituency parliamentary seat in Nairobi. After his father Jaramogi Oginga Odinga died in January 1994, Odinga resigned from Ford Kenya for the National Development Party (NDP) when Michael Wamalwa Kijana succeeded as the party's chairperson. Odinga first sought the presidency under the National Development Party (NDP) in 1997, but came third after Daniel Moi and Mwai Kibaki respectively, later on deciding to merge NDP with KANU. He later left KANU and formed the Rainbow Movement, which later joined Liberal Democratic Party (LDP), teaming up with opposition's Mwai Kibaki's National Alliance Party of Kenya (NAK), a coalition of several other parties to form the National Rainbow Coalition, NAC, which eventually saw Kibaki ascend to the presidency in the year 2002. After the win, Raila served as the Minister of Roads, Public Works and Housing. Following the defeat of government-backed constitutional referendum, Raila formed the Orange Democratic Movement (ODM) in 2005, positioning it as a major opposition force. The disputed 2007 presidential elections redefined Odinga's political journey after the Electoral Commission declared Mwai Kibaki the winner, leading to a widespread protest and post-election violence that left over 1,000 dead and hundreds of thousands displaced. A mediation pact led by the then UN Secretary General Kofi Annan gave birth to a power-sharing deal, making Raila the Prime Minister in a grand coalition from the year 2008 to 2013. The promulgation of the 2010 Constitution rendered the Prime Minister position unconstitutional, clearing his path back to the opposition culture. In the 2013 general elections, Odinga sought the presidency under the CORD coalition, losing to Uhuru Kenyatta. In 2017, the ODM leader under the NASA coalition again went for the top job, only for him to lose and withdraw from a repeat election after the Maraga-led bench declared the election null and void. In 2018, Odinga made an unseen move by joining the government through a handshake with President Uhuru Kenyatta. In 2022, Raila ran for the presidency under the Azimio la Umoja coalition with Martha Karua as his running mate, but lost to William Ruto. His efforts to have the Supreme Court save his fifth and possibly final bid for the presidency also flopped. Approximately 2 years later, Odinga pulled a political card not even his close allies ever saw coming. He joined President William Ruto, giving birth to the broad-based government, a union that later on fronted him for the presidency of the African Union Commission. Known for his fiery rhetoric, unwavering opposition stance, and a career marked by both triumphs and controversies, Raila Odinga's name is almost synonymous with Kenya's struggle for democratic reforms. For Newswatch, I'm Sami Adika.
Thank you, Adika, for that report. Now, sit-down presiding Bishop Callisto Odede has joined other leaders in mourning the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. In his tribute, Bishop Odede narrated moments with the ODM leader and urged Kenyans to be reflective of the lessons left behind by Raila. Other world leaders have also sent their messages of condolence on social media, hailing Raila as a statesman and a visionary leader, not only for Kenya, but in the African continent at large.
As the presiding bishop of Christ is the Answer Ministries, and on behalf of the members of Christ is the Answer Ministries, we do want to express our heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Special condolences to Mama Ida of the passing on of the late leader. We pray that the God of all comfort will comfort your hearts. And like he says in Psalms 143, that he will bind the brokenhearted and heal their wounds. And may the Lord himself bind your broken hearts and heal your wounds today. We extend the same to Kenyans as well, and colleagues and friends of the late. May God comfort you as you walk this journey of bereavement. The late Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga was a unique leader. Over the last 3 decades, he has straddled the political sphere of Kenya, shaping the direction that the politics of Kenya has gone. He has made lots of contribution towards the political democratic space that we have experienced in Kenya. As one of the young Turks many years ago, they together went through what was then the Sabasaba incident, which led to his incarceration. He was actually detained for a period of time, and yet he came out and looking at the man, is amazing how God has given him a heart of forgiveness, that again and again, those who have wounded him, who have hurt him, he has forgiven them, and he has worked again with them and shown that you do not need to hold grudges permanently. You can actually come out from where you are at feeling a little abandoned, a little mistreated, and still work together. And he has shown us as a nation that it's good to forgive. We do know that now that he is gone and departed, that many individuals would actually struggle with what is the way forward. Our prayer is that we would maintain peace, and that we would let those who are in the arena of politics continue to play their politics peacefully, that his death would not become a divisive issue in the nation that would actually separate us as a nation, but rather that as he showed a number of times, that it is good to actually even forgive your opponents and work together that journey, that we will continue to work together as a nation even after his death.
And presidential hopeful and veteran gospel singer Reuben Kigame has joined other Kenyans in mourning the death of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. In a media briefing at his home in Eldoret, Kigame said he honors the ODM leader for fighting for the country's democracy. The veteran musician has, however, accused President William Ruto of signing several bills he claimed would further curtail freedom of speech and the media on the very same day that Raila died. He said the bills include the controversial Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Amendment Bill 2024, which he accuses Parliament of passing without public participation.
Ingawa tunatofautiana na mwisho wake, mimi ninamuenzi na ninamsherekea kabisa na muinulia mikono Baba Raila Amolo Odinga kwa sababu yeye aliumia kwa sababu ya demokrasia. Na pia ninamuenzi babake ambaye alinipa inspiration kubwa katika kutetea mambo ya haki. Unajua kwamba babake Jaramogi Odinga ndiye alikuwa vice president wetu wa kwanza tulipopata uhuru.
To other news now, former journalist Kimani Mbogo has died aged 29. Mbogo died while receiving treatment at a rescue center in Mombasa, with the cause of his death unknown. Mbogo was an alumnus of Moi University, where he studied communication and media. He later rose to prominence as a vibrant on-screen personality before stepping away from journalism due to mental health challenges. In recent years, he had spoken candidly about living with bipolar disorder, drawing national attention and sparking conversations around mental health awareness in Kenya. Mbogo, who worked as a radio presenter at Nation FM, later moved to Royal Media Services, where he had a TV show and also appeared in a vernacular radio station. He will be remembered for his charisma on screen and his vulnerability off it. And Aga Khan University Dean of Medical College for East Africa, Professor Lukoye Atwoli, has received the international presidency of the 2026 World Health Regional Meeting from the current regional president, Professor Balvir Tomar, and the summit's president, Professor Dr. Axel Priess, during the 2025 summit held in Berlin. The milestone marks the first time in history that the WHA's international presidency transitions to Africa, underscoring the continent's growing influence, innovation, and leadership in global health. Professor Lukoye, in his acceptance remarks, said the transition symbolizes global recognition of Africa's role in shaping a healthier, more equitable future for all. He reaffirmed Aga Khan University's collective commitment to championing transformative health systems and evidence-based solutions addressing the continent's most pressing health challenges. We look at sports news now. Football Kenya Federation has announced the suspension of all league features during the 7-day national mourning period, as per the presidential directive in honor of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. In a statement, FKF said it joins in mourning Raila, describing him as a statesman, visionary leader, and passionate supporter of local football. And Athletics Kenya has posted condolences following the death of 2000 Boston Marathon champion and former Chesume Member of Parliament Elijah Lagat. Lagat died while undergoing treatment at Eldoret Hospital, aged 60. In their message, AK said Lagat's grit, endurance, and fighting spirit inspired a generation of marathoners who carried the national flag with pride. A towering figure of Kenyan road running in the 1990s and early 2000s, Lagat was part of the golden generation that cemented Kenya's dominance over the 42-kilometer distance on the global stage. Among his glittering achievements was his Boston Marathon triumph in 2000, where he stopped the clock in 2 hours, 9 minutes, 47 seconds. Lagat is also represented Kenya at the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games. And that's how we wrap up Newswatch tonight. Thank you for having kept us company as we brought you this newscast. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language has been Boniface Mureithi. On behalf of the entire production crew that made this possible, have a wonderful night.